Okay, in this last session, we're going to be taking 7616 and 7610 to Cypress to drop off these cars. These cars will stay at the interchange and the freight house near the yard. During the session, we also have to take all our cars to staging and switch out the cars that are still facing forward in Cypress right now. Some of them are from the scrap metal yard, and one of them is from the lumber yard. First, we're going to use 7623 and 4850 to switch out the interchange, or add cars to the interchange rather than switch, to try and help clear out the yard for the local. My interchange track is not built yet. It's going to be trailing off that farthest track on the left, and it's probably going to be about 6 or 7 cars long, so that we can put multiple lengths of cars in there, including auto racks or center beams or really long gondolas maybe. Interchange tracks can take every kind of car there is. When the crew is pulling out cars from the yard to go to the interchange, they have to kind of zigzag across the main line to get to the siding that goes to the interchange, which is what you see here, kind of going back and forth. In the future, when the railroad builds the proper interchange track, we'll have to push in all the cars instead of doing what we're doing here. We'll push them in from the other side, so the crew will probably just go all the way to the far end of the yard limits and push cars forward into the interchange, which is on this side. It'll be a lot less back and forth. And I decided to switch it up. This crew will do the local switching, and the crew of 7610 and 7616 will just take this little tank car and tack it onto the back of the train going to Cypress. I thought it was much easier than moving engines all the way around the yard since they were already over there. These two engines are MU'd, and I worked on the speed tables to limit their maximum power or max speed. Like right here, they're about 50% on the throttle and they're barely moving down the road, which to me, I really like to see scale speeds. Here, we're using this MP1500 or MP15 to just move it out the way because it's such a little body that it kind of skips on all my switches. So I have to get another decoder and put it in another SW1500 that I have so that it kind of helps it move along. Now, the original crew of 7623 is backing or zigzagging back to pick up their train. The train going to Cypress is going to have 2 boxcars, that railgun, and if you can barely see that blue bulkhead flat car, uh, along with the 2 tank cars in the back. So 6 cars are going to go to the Hearne sub to switch out the town of Cypress. And with that, they have clearance to head out. Here you can see them all. Those 2 tank cars will go to the liquid transfer facility. The train pulls out of the yard and it goes next to the engine service facility, where you can see the next trains that are going to staging. are waiting for their train to be ready and head out. The Cypress local here pulls around 84 lumber, which there's an actual 84 lumber in Cypress. It's not shaped like this, but I had to fit what I could here. Um, we're here to pick up that center beam over there and drop off these two box cars. Um, it's a little hard to get in here right now because this cement I made with styrene is kind of real close to the track, so it kind of rubs on the trucks. So it's a little hiccupy, I guess. So I kind of edited it out. But with the pickup made, we put in our drop-offs. And I'm filming this with the GoPro, so I'm trying not to move it a lot. It kind of has a wide angle, but there's not a lot of places to put a tripod on my layout, so I'm trying to get the best angles I can, learning as I go, because this is the first time I film. With the drop-off made, it's time to pick up the car cards and put them on the back of the pile. This is it's a lot of learning as I go with these car cards, planning and all. Here I leave the center beam on the track we're on right now, but what I should have did is leave it on the next track over left so that I'm not blocking two tracks just to switch out these industries. You can see here if it was on the left track, the right track would be free to roll for other trains to go through here. At least free for trains to come out of the staging to the far left, because they could use that inside track to get to the Hardy Yard. The crew has to pause here so that dispatch can switch these tracks over so I can get onto the other main. Then I can pick up my cars that I have to switch out and get back on the other main. I haven't really labeled these mains yet, 1 and 2. I do like right side rules for my trains. It kind of worked out in this layout by accident. So we pick up our cars that we're waiting on the main, and now we have to cross the switch to back into the siding. You can hear you while you're waiting. You can see some of my pink foams turning brown, which looks way better than the pink. If my local's coming out on right-hand rules, it probably should take this siding first as it goes into Cypress. I don't know. I just have to play with it and see what's best. You can see my lumber yard slowly coming together. It's trying to make a concrete pad. It's so difficult. At the same time, making it look smooth and not like a monkey did it. This is the best shot I can get of my incomplete metal scrapyard, fabrication yard. The tripod just doesn't fit. It's right next to the liquid transfer facility. So I'm pulling out these two gondolas and leaving the bulkhead flat car that was there and the railgun and the blue bulkhead flat car as well. And this is sort of a longer shot of going into the metal fabrication industry. To your left, you'll see the liquid transfer along with some makeshift boxes that are supposed to be buildings. Make a drop off, and now we're Backing out past the switch for the liquid transfer and gonna drop off cars here as well. These two tank cars. I don't remember where they came from, but they were in the yard and their destination for the end of this session was the liquid transfer facility. So they're dropped off. Now engines are light. We're backing out of the siding to pick up these covered gondolas and then back in to the other main, which will be on the right side now, which is good, to pick up the center beam and go back to the yard so that these cars can be put into the trains that they need to be in. And here the crew is clearing the switch to back in to the main, which is now right-hand rules. And they'll take that back to the yard. The crew has 3 cars with it now. Now you can see them going near the engine service facility. And at the end of this video, you'll see this first GE unit 5100 is going to be the road unit to take the train to staging. Crew pulls into track 3, I believe. There, they'll get instructions, and they're going to end up putting those 3 cars on the back of a train. Here comes 5100 to get ready to head to staging. I haven't really named these. I thought I had names for all these trains, but I was completely wrong, so I'm working it out now. The crew pulls out these hoppers and backs into the main, which they're facing the wrong direction, but on the way out they will switch to right-hand side. The Cypress crew is tacking on these to the back of the auto racks. Those 2 auto racks and the 2 well cars will go with this train to staging. Again, switching camera views. I gotta clean this layout off with all these extra cars that I have. I'm trying to see if I want to run cabooses with these trains or not. I'm not sure yet. So the crew will back out almost into Galveston on this layout. There I am trying to make sure the switches are switched right so we don't get a derailment. The crew will back out, clear the switch for the third track from the wall, where they'll tack on that little cut to the train going to staging. And it's nice watching a slow train, but I'm not sure how it looks for you guys. Let me know if you want to see the slowness of the switching or rapid cuts. So with that, 5100 has its full train and it is heading to staging, where we'll end the session, or at least the destinations on the car cards that we have. Everything will be at its location for Waybill 2. I think in the future I'll add another U25B to make this a GE unit set, so it doesn't look like it's a single train where everything else was 2 units. Here's the 5100 heading into the second staging track. I believe that train behind it is an actual train, and the one in front of it is just storing cars that don't have any waybills yet. In the future, there's going to be a background here, a backdrop, and it'll cut in between Cypress and the staging yard. So here's what the yard looks like now. Those 5 cars are actually in the interchange. The yard is sort of empty. All of my cars are flipped facing back. Everything in Cypress or Hearne is facing backwards. And the session's done.